Denver Startup Week we are a little used to, unfortunately. But thank you for joining us. My name's Olivia Omega. I am your founder track chair for Denver Startup Week. And I'm just super excited that you're here. We have learned a lot of different things in 2020. And one of those is that we are more powerful when we come together as a community to share ideas and help make each other better. At Denver Startup Week, we strive to make all of our sessions a space where attendees can connect, learn, and grow, regardless of age, gender identity, gender expression, race, ability, sexual orientation, or the combination of those identities. There's something for everyone here at Denver Startup Week. Again, welcome for our first virtual. And I'm going to go ahead and kick it straight off to Marcus Farmer, who is one of our session organizers and who has planned an incredible session for you with regard to creating your tech war chest. Marcus, thank you so much. Go ahead and take it away. You can go ahead and share your screen.
All right, thank you so much, Olivia. Let me get the screen share going. Let's see. And do me a favor, give me a thumbs up, Olivia, if you can see that.
Perfect.
All right. Okay, everyone, I appreciate the time that you've taken to attend both Denver Startup Week and to attend this session. Hopefully, by the end of this session, you'll get a whole lot of resources and ideas as to some things and some tools that you can use to increase your productivity, as well as perhaps saving some money in your startup or in your existing business. This originally was supposed to be a panel discussion, but unfortunately, a couple of the panelists were not able to make it. So I am going to take it away. Our goals really, and I should say my goal and our goals, I guess, for Denver Startup Week is to expose you to some tools, some apps, some websites, even categories of things that you didn't know about or haven't heard about. There's a million apps out there for almost every purpose under the sun, from accounting to competitive intelligence to helping you with your website, building your website. And these are just a small snippet of the things that are out there. What I want to encourage you to do is to use the chat window to ask questions, offer feedback, and also maybe even chime in with some other apps that you know about that could also accomplish some of these categories and purposes that I'm going to be discussing. Do not expect to just take notes from this presentation and walk away. I'm almost certain that you're going to need to get the slide deck. And at the end of the presentation, I'll give you a way to download my slide deck. I'll tell you how to get that at the end. This presentation is definitely meant to be a reference for you as you move forward into the future. And without further ado, I'm just going to jump in and start with the tools because there's a lot of them to present and we only have a limited amount of time to get going. The first category is competitive intelligence. And the first website I want to talk about is called builtwith.com. Builtwith.com is a website profiler, lead generation, and competitive analysis tool for providing technology and sort of like the back end stack of websites. What I've used it for, and mind you, I've used some of these sites. I've also gotten word of some of these sites with some of my clients that I work with. And they tell me about some of these things, but this is really cool because you can type in any URL and you can see what it's built on. You can see the technology, if they're using WordPress, if they're using some other service. It's really cool. So it's really handy to have in your war chest. Another one is similarweb.com. You can find SEO and PPC keywords for sites used. You can see popular pages and traffic sources on that site. You may have heard of this one before, but it's one of the most trusted platforms online to, see this type of competitive intelligence information. And I'm going to be going through these really fast. So if there are questions, make sure to chime in on the chat. Competitors app. I have not used this one, but a couple of the people that I've worked with have, and they just rave about it. They say it's really good. You can see social activity as well as blog posts, in addition to some of the other competitive type information that people are typically using. It only takes 5 minutes a week and it's really short, so it gives you a whole lot of information in a short burst. And here are a few others that I don't have time to feature, but are also worth mentioning. And that's kind of the way this presentation is going to flow. I'm going to show you some highlighted ones, but then I'm going to give you a few that you can take away with you and sort of explore on your own. Google search them, Google search the category, and see if you can find some more information. Password managers is another good category to take a look at. The one that I like the most is called Zoho Vault. Zoho Vault allows you to not only create categories and different websites and apps and stuff for passwords, but you can actually share them with people and you can control the access. So if there's one set of passwords that you want to see for, let's say, the marketing group, but another set of passwords that you want to show to the accounting group, you can do that with a tool like Zoho Vault. It's team-based, permissions-based. You can track the actions. It's really cool. Here are a few others that are worth mentioning. Splash ID is one that is really good for personal use. It's a phone app involved with that one as well as a desktop app. Note-taking, and that brings up the ever popular Evernote. If you're not familiar with Evernote, you should get familiar with Evernote because I love it. And I think a lot of people out there love it. Tag-based is very flexible. You can categorize it and organize it just about any way you want to. And best of all, it's free. We're talking about startups, so a lot of these resources that I'm going to show you are really low cost or free and very powerful at the same time. Another one to take a look at is Google Keep, which is not too unfamiliar with people, but most people don't know about it because it's already built into a lot of the Android apps and a lot of Android platforms that they're using. So take a look at Google Keep for a lot of the just basic note-taking and checklists that you might need on a personal basis. One that I think is really cool is Otter. So Otter allows you to take voice notes and then transcribes them into text, which is really cool because you can actually start the recording, let's say in a meeting, and just have the recording going on while the meeting's taking place. And at the end of the meeting, push stop. And now your whole conversation in the meeting is transcribed. You can just email that to yourself, and then you'll almost have instant meeting notes just from the app. So this is a really cool app to really try out and take note of. It's not that expensive if there is a charge. I'm using it free right now on my phone. So just be aware that there may be a small fee associated with it. Can someone actually put something in the chat so I can know that the chat is working? Because I don't see anything right now. I just want to make sure that I can see any questions that come up. Okay. There we go. Okay. Okay, I see some chat now. Thank you guys. And let's see. Team and collaboration. Okay, so there's Asana, and a lot of people use Asana for personal as well as business use. It has a free and some plans that are inexpensive. It's flexible because you can sort of organize it the way you need to. If you want to organize it by business unit or perhaps by person, you're able to do that, perhaps by result area inside of your business. So Asana is always a good one to have in your repertoire. And then there's this app called ClickUp, which I am new to, but apparently a lot of people are not new to it. It is very powerful because you can set up milestones, projects, and tasks, just like any other app, but you can almost group them in any context that you like and invite collaborators. It's very affordable, and it seems very robust and capable to handle any type of way that you want to organize. It integrates very well with a lot of platforms. So I invite you to check out clickup.com. And then there's Trello, which takes advantage of the Kanban board and agile concept. Basically, you can create different stages of any process and then move your task items between the stages, and you can collaborate with them with your team on those stages. You can take notes on those stages. It's really easy to set up, and you can do it for free. So check out Trello as well. And then there's Slack. Slack is not a task manager. It's more like a chat, what they call it, instant messenger type of service. A lot of teams use a lot of teams use Slack in order to save on email messages, because sometimes people are just emailing small messages back and forth to each other. So Slack has a lot of apps and a lot of capabilities. Somebody chimed in and said that they have many apps. Okay, so it's not just a instant messenger, but they have some other tools as well. So it's definitely worth checking out. And then there's a whole set of tools that are used for project management as well as team collaboration that I wanted to put in the honorable mention spot here. Basecamp is one, Monday.com is one. I heard that Teamwork is really good, but you have to have at least 5 users to use Teamwork. So keep that in mind. Okay, payment tools. Here's the usual suspects: PayPal, Authorize.net, Stripe, Square, 2Checkout. One thing to mention, my experience with 2Checkout is they don't actually charge. They're not a payment gateway. They charge your customers, and you become their customers, and they pass along the money after they take along their cut. I think that's how it works. So 2Checkout has a little bit different payment flow. But other than that, I think they all work pretty much the same. I think that some of them are focused on different industries. I think Braintree is like that. But these are all viable options if you don't have a payment gateway or any way to accept payment yet. And then there's accounting. So I wanted to mention one popular tool called Wave. Wave is awesome because it seems like it's virtually free. I haven't really experienced the need to do the payment plan yet, and I'm using it right now for accounting. You can set up a full chart of accounts with it. You can manage your bookkeeping through it. You can collaborate with people, including anybody you have doing your accounting, and it's very fully featured. So it says they're the world's fastest growing small business accounting software. I just wanted to mention them because it doesn't seem like they're too popular yet. The dominant one is QuickBooks right now. Another one that's worth mentioning is FreshBooks because they're designed for service-based businesses, but they're flexible to fit most all of them. I used them before, and they did have a really responsive customer service department, and I think that they're pretty known for that. You know, they're known for their service. So FreshBooks is also an alternative that you definitely want to keep in your tool belt, your war chest. And then here's some honorable mentions for you to take note of. I'm trying to think, is there anyone in here that we really want to highlight? Yeah, so these ones that I have dark are the ones you want to take a look at first if you don't see any of the other featured ones. Point of sales tools, if you do retail, if you do a restaurant or any type of service on site and you need something quick and on demand to take payments, SquareUp is a good old choice because I think they pioneered the mobile swipe device that fits in your phone, the little square thing that plugs into your phone. A lot of phones these days don't have that, so they've moved into some other payment solutions. But they are big now, and I think that they have point of sales that work with computers, with laptops, with iPads, and they're just a robust option. You pretty much can't go wrong with them because they have a lot of kinks and bugs worked out already. There's another one called VendHQ that integrates with Shopify very well if you're using Shopify for an e-commerce solution, and they do PayPal very well as well. It's a inventory management as well as a point of sale solution. So I wanted to mention that as well on the presentation. And then there's a few here that I invite you to take a look at. There are very much more of these. In fact, there's so much more, I could probably fill this whole page with small type font and still have more left. So you want to make sure to Google point of sale sales tools if you can't find a solution for one of these. And then there's help desk tools. In the category of help desk tools, Zoho Desk is really good. It pulls in all your customer interactions from across multiple channels into a single clean interface. You can then seamlessly continue the conversations, and it's free for up to 3 agents. So a lot of the Zoho suite of apps come at a freemium model. So you start using it really free. And then as you grow in the need for features or users or capacity in some sort of way, then that's where the payments come in at. So not only a Zoho Desk like this, but I think Zoho has a variety of tools. I'm using Zoho for invoicing too, since we were mentioning accounting. Zoho has a lot of tools that you want to take a look at. Freshdesk is something that I'm showing the built with screen for by mistake, but it is a cool app. I'm sorry I didn't get the screenshot in here, but it does have a lot of integrations with it as well. It's free for unlimited agents and has a lot of widespread usage. So freshdesk.com is a great tool to keep in your tool belt. Someone's asking, have I had any experience with the Redmine? I have not. And if anybody on the chat has, I invite you to chime in to help answer the question. One of the tools that I do have experience with is Hesk. Hesk is an open source tool. So you have to be careful with open source tools because there's no real support behind them besides the community that supports it. So if there is a bug or a feature, you have to reach out to the community of users that use it to see if anyone has had that and to see if they've solved that problem for themselves. Hesk seems to be pretty thorough and robust at this point. Pretty cool looking user interface. This is not the user interface. This is just the website. But I'm using Hesk right now for my business as a help desk tool, and it seems to be working out really well. You can customize some fields in there, and it's a pretty cool ticketing system. People just send an email, or if you have agents or somebody taking trouble tickets, they can actually create the tickets themselves on the back end. So it's pretty cool. And then let's see. There is live chat, Zendesk. They have some pretty cool features built into those. If you're looking at some help desk tools, I invite you to look at those as well and take a look at some of these others. And speaking of live chat, I want to mention intercom.com. This one is probably one of the most popular ones being used on websites right now. If you've been to a website, you've seen this little bubble in the lower right-hand corner of the site, and you can set that to do all kinds of things, pop up after a certain amount of time, pop up upon immediate entry, perhaps if someone engages with your content in some sort of way. And then on top of it, you can create automated answers to common questions. So let's say that you had it set to pop up and say, hi, my name is Marcus. If there's anything I can help you with, just let me know. And they typed in something about your features. And based upon the keyword that they used, you can have a certain reply set up to respond to that or something else instead. So it's very interactive and it integrates with things. And if all else fails, you can have it point to an agent after a certain amount of interaction or time or anything like that. Then there's Drift, which works very much the same way. It's very similar to Intercom. I had a typo there. It says toe. We have mean to say to Intercom. But agents can take over after the automations. It makes it easier for people to buy from your business through real-time one-on-one conversations. And, based upon the automations, you can have it trigger automations like sending a certain checklist or cheat sheet out to anybody who chatted with you after the interaction. So check it out, drift.com. And then there's Podium. I've heard good things about that. They've made some improvements because of that. And let's see, live chat I mentioned before. They have some other features built into it. So there's just a ton of tools out there for live chat. Just check them out. Call and phone service. Google Voice. Most people are not aware, once again, that Google does have a voice service and it's easy to set up. You can do voicemail transcription and integrates with all the G Suite products. It's free to get started, and it's there for you. One of the ones that I wanted to highlight and mention is Call8. Call8 is not free, but it's really low cost. I think it's like $5. Right now, I'm not using it that much. I think mine is like $3, but I've been using it for a while, so they might have changed the pricing. But this service, you're able to set up a vanity phone number, a 1-800 number, or a local phone number, but not have it ring, not have to use your personal cell phone to do it. You can have it forward to your personal cell phone or whatever phone, or you can have it sequenced to phones. Like, let's say you want to dial your assistant first and then call you afterwards and then go to your voicemail. Those types of features are all available with Call8. It's a really cool and affordable solution, and I recommend it. And then there's answeringservicecare.com. I like them because they have live agents available pretty much whenever you need them, and they have bilingual operators as well. So if you need to have support available 24/7, or you want to take calls because you're in the type of business where leads can come in at all hours of the day or night, you definitely want to take a look at some of these answering services like answeringservicecare.com, because they will come in handy for you. Virtual receptionists. And there's so many in this category that I had to create 3 columns for some of the others that I wanted to recommend to you all. So here is the list here. Someone asked about what type of support. It's very good. I recommend the support for the one that I just mentioned, the answeringservicecare.com. It's very good from what I hear. I haven't used them myself, but I hear that it's very good. And let's see, Grasshopper, Open Phone is another open source solution that's out there. Mighty Call, heard good things about them as well. I used to use Virtual PBX, but I switched to Call8, by the way. So there's that. And then with the virtual receptionist, there is Numa, EasyB, low prices. Answer Connect is very good for customer support. Survey and research. So Google Forms is pretty powerful because any type of form field that you need to create with Google Forms is there. And you can use that to go right into
I found this on the web.
Sorry, that's my phone is responding because I said the magic G word. But back to what I was saying, Google Forms, you can move information right from the form into a Google Sheet with very little integration steps. I think it's just a couple of buttons you push right inside of Google Forms, and it goes right into Google Sheets. And Google Forms integrates with all kinds of apps as well. So you can use it to do quick little surveys and quick little feedback messages if you want to. And then there's SurveyMonkey. It's very popular. A lot of people use that. I think you can get started for free on that. Another one called Respondent and Zapier that I want to point you to as well. Let's see. Okay, so Calendly. I'm in the booking and calendar category here. First one I want to mention and highlight is Calendly. Calendly allows you to set up scheduling for perhaps anything, actually. As I'm thinking about it, you can do a little link on the bottom of your email messages. For instance, if someone wants to set up a time to talk to you, it's really easy just to click a link and find times that you have already set up on the back end to schedule times to talk. So salespeople use Calendly a lot. People who are in customer support use Calendly a lot. And so you don't have to necessarily go back and forth with people on the phone and email to find the perfect time. You just set up your Calendly app and put that link out or send that link out, and people can just schedule time with you directly. Another one is Google Meet. And I'm only putting this on here, another Google product, because they just recently disconnected, what was it called? Google Hangouts. They changed it from Google Hangouts to Google Meet. And now it's free for virtual meetings. I mean, free for everyone. I think you can have up to 100 people for 60 minutes in a Google Meet. So it's a real quick, easy solution. And there's a button right inside of Gmail for it. So when you click that button, you can start a Google Meet right away with anybody. And it's very functional, very good for teams, very good for quick little meetings, and it's free, once again. Zoom, which we're on right now. And then we've got a whole slew of other solutions that are out there. There's more than this, I'm sure. I've used join.me in the past, GoToMeeting in the past. Those were good. Microsoft Teams is very good. Freeconferencecall.com is very good. Zoho Meeting is very good. So there's a variety of solutions out here. And booking and scheduling. This is very similar to the calendar solution I mentioned before with Calendly. This one's called simplybook.me, and it's sort of catered towards service providers. So booking system for dentists, medical services, hair and beauty salons, repair services, event planners, rental agencies. They all have a really easy time on simplybook.me, because you not only can set up times for you as a provider or you as a business, but you can do that segmented by, let's say, subsegments of your business. So if you have multiple people, like different barbers or different dentists in your business, they all can have their own simplybook.me account inside of this main simplybook.me account. And it can all be managed from one simple location and one simple interface. I love it because you don't even have to have different providers necessarily. It could be virtual in nature. Let's say that you have different aspects of your business that you have to keep separate calendars for that necessarily don't or do overlap. You can still use simplybook.me in the same kind of fashion. So there's that. Housecall Pro is one that I wanted to highlight as well, because they focus on home services. So if you're a plumber, a roofer, or lawn care provider, or something like that, check out housecall.pro. Excuse me, it's called Housecall Pro. And then another sort of targeted vertical app in this space is timely.com. They focus on salons. And I'm told Wix has a bookings app now too. Shipping tools. Okay, ShipEasy.com, very low cost, lots of integrations. It's easiest cloud-based shipping platform on the market, powerful integrations. I've checked it out myself. I haven't used it as much, but I have people who have used it and they like it. They like it a lot. And then I have used stamps.com, and it's pretty simple to use. It kind of takes me a paradigm shift a little bit, because I'm so used to going to the post office. But a lot of these apps come with their own solution to having to do the normal grind of taking orders and then packing it up and then going to the post office to ship it. So they offer their own little twist on that. E-commerce. My number one favorite and go-to, the one that I recommend all the time, is WooCommerce. It is the WordPress plugin for e-commerce solutions and selling online. I think something like 35% or higher at this point of websites on the internet use WordPress as a CMS. So this integrates right directly with your WordPress. If you have that fully featured, you can sell virtual products and tangible products. There's tons of add-ins and integrations with gateways. So it's the most popular plugin to work with WordPress websites. And then there's Shopify, which is fully featured to work outside of websites or CMSs like WordPress, because of the integrations that it has and the capability and flexibility for the types of products that you can sell with it. But a number of these solutions can do very much the same types of things. So I had to put them on here as well. Yep. Okay. And here's someone said, definitely need the slide deck. I told you, it's a lot of stuff in here, and I'm gotta hurry up because I'm gonna run out of time, because there's so many different things out there. Next is CRM and marketing automation, my favorite category, because I love automating processes inside of businesses. That's part of the work that I do as an agency, is I take apps like ActiveCampaign and I set up processes where after a web form is filled out, or after someone visits your website or purchases in your store, you follow up consistently and you follow up regularly so that nobody drops out of your marketing funnel. And that's very important, not to have any misleads. ActiveCampaign is one of the best at it. So I encourage you highly to give ActiveCampaign a try. You can personalize messages and even do text message marketing now through ActiveCampaign. And then there's Keep, which is another solution that I highly recommend. Very similar capabilities, a little bit more higher in the price point, but they are doing their best to do things like integrate appointment booking and a sales pipeline, invoicing. They have a way to add different add-ons so that you can do SMS marketing as well. So Keep is also one of the highly recommended ones. Let's see. Someone said Marcus is useful websites. That's pretty funny. What do you mean that there's an app called Marcus, or are you just joking around? That's my question for you in the chat room. But here are some other marketing automation and email marketing and CRM suites that I didn't have time to highlight, but I encourage you to check out. HubSpot is really cool because I think you can have up to unlimited contacts now in there, but I think that they limit you on the marketing features until you upgrade to a paid plan. MailChimp, you can have up to 2,000 contacts in there, I think, and it does some email marketing, but it doesn't have as much automation capability to it. And then ManyChat is worth mentioning because it's very robust in terms of Facebook Messenger. So when you get a lead, let's say off of a lead form, and you want to follow up with them, you can actually send them a Facebook Messenger message to connect with them instead of an email too. A lot of people have Facebook on their phone, so it's like, hey, we're just following up with you, and you get it on your phone through a messenger message. Wow, what a powerful capability. That is something worth exploring. Okay, next thing, stock images and video. Pixabay. Pixabay is really cool because Pixabay is free and royalty free at the same time. All these images, like 1.8 million high quality resolution images, are on Pixabay. They're all free to download, all high resolution, big. You can shrink them down to whatever size you need. Use them in your social media posts, use them on your, I think your marketing materials, and just go to town with it. Everything is under the Creative Commons license. So I really want to highlight Pixabay. There's about maybe 3-4 websites that are free and royalty free at the same time with these quality images like that. Let's see. So Unsplash is one of them, just like that. PX Here is one of them like that. And then these other ones may have some free elements to them. Shutterstock has a free section, but a lot of the things on Shutterstock are paid. They're worth exploring though. The video section of these sites as well is worth exploring because a lot of times people are using video on social media. They're using video on the headers on their websites. So you can get a lot of these types of things from Envato Elements, Envato Market, Deposit Photos, and Shutterstock. They have the videos. Now, mind you, they're not all free, but they're low cost in many cases. Pixabay is free, Unsplash is free, PX Here is free, etc. Okay, and then we move to not just stock images and videos, but actually images and photo editing. Pixlr is one of my favorite go-tos because it's easy to use, it's online, and you can just upload any picture and start editing it. It's free to use. So it's definitely one that you want to bookmark, because if you do a lot of advertising and copy and social media posts, you need to resize things, go to Pixlr. It can even open PSD files from what I'm told. I read that on G2 the other day. So there's that. And then there's some others. Okay, Photoshop is low cost now. I think it's somewhere around $20 a month. And you can use it in the Adobe Cloud. So definitely use Photoshop as the standard. GIMP is also something that I've heard mentioned a lot. I haven't used it myself, but I'm told that it's pretty robust. And then let's see, Adobe has probably 3 other apps that are capable of editing images just in various ways. So you also want to just don't limit yourself to Photoshop. Yeah, someone just said GIMP is the bomb and it's free. So there you go with GIMP. Yeah, so I get rave reviews about GIMP. All right, then let's go to music and sounds. So I highlight Envato Market just because they have a pretty robust, I don't know what you call it, portfolio of sounds and things, and everything's starting really cheap. It's like $1. But one of the things to realize about them is they have audio clips, they have video clips, they have graphic images and photos, just the same as I've been talking about. But their audio section is really cool because everything starts at $1 and it's royalty free. So that means that you don't have to pay anybody if you're using it on a commercial of some sort, and you get like $1 million off of that commercial. So keep that in mind. Let's see. And then we've got these recommended sound and music apps. Definitely want to take the time and check those out when you get a chance. Audio editing. Now, this is one of my favorite apps, Audacity. I use it all the time. If I wasn't presenting, I'd chime in on the chat and say Audacity is the bomb, because Audacity, I mean, it's free, it's open source. You can use it to your heart's content, and it can open up pretty much any MP3 and .wav file and some other file formats. You can splice things. You can separate them. You can, I don't know what it's called when you repeat them, but basically you loop them, I think is what it's called, loop. And I've used it in a number of applications where I took a voice. Maybe I'm reading some script and then I want to put some backgrounds to the track, and then I want to upload that to a radio ad or a social media post or something like that. Audacity was the tool that I used, and I didn't have to pay anybody for it. So keep that in mind. It's easy too. Someone said Audacity is really easy. And then Adobe has a product called Audition that I've used before. GarageBand, I've heard about it, haven't used it. Anybody used GarageBand before? I think it's pretty cool. And then I've used Magic's Music Maker before. That seems pretty easy, and they've done a lot of improvements on that lately. So a lot of these tools come highly recommended. Anybody use GarageBand, by the way, in the chat? And while we are looking at that, let's look at freelance platforms. Golly, I'm at 3:43. I got to hurry up. So I'm going to zoom past these guys. Fiverr is my favorite. Quality, cheap. You can get a lot of things done for you if you can't do it yourself. Logos, any type of creative work. They have copywriters, proofreaders, things like that, all on translation, all on Fiverr with 2Rs.com. A lot of entrepreneurs' go-to resource. And then Upwork, Freelancer, 99 Designs. I think 99 Designs is focused on graphics a lot, but look at these other ones here as well. Guys, I got to zoom through these, so I'm not going to give you that much time to look at the list here. Video editing. We got Adobe Premiere. It's the standard. I hate to recommend the paid tool because I'm trying to keep this low cost or free, but seriously, Adobe Premiere is worth it at $20 per month. It is industry standard if you ever have to edit video. But there are ways to get around it if you absolutely need to. I've used Camtasia before. I've used Wave Video before. I've used Animoto before, but Animoto tends to be less featured than the other ones. And I'm told that Final Cut Pro is also pretty easy to use. Yeah. Okay, yeah. Someone said that Camtasia is a little bit pricey. Yeah. So there's that. And then there's screen recording. Loom is one of my favorites. Loom is a free app. It's a Chrome browser plugin. I'm not sure if it plugs into other browsers, but I use Chrome pretty much all the time. And the thing about it is when you do screen recording with other apps, it takes a long time to render, but Loom pretty much renders immediately. You record something on Loom and it gives you a link pretty much 2 seconds right after you press. You can take that and share it. So I use it in a lot of support operations, and I've been supported by people using Loom as well. They just shoot me a quick video on what to do, send the link, and I watch it. And the cool thing about it is it lets you know when someone watches your video too. So, yep. Let's see, Marcus might be willing to send it to you by request. This presentation is being recorded. No, I want to reiterate that this presentation is, my slide deck is going to be available at the end of the presentation. I'll tell you how to get it. But this is being recorded as well, I'm told. So there's a lot of ways that you'll be able to get access to these resources and these slides. Camtasia, someone had just mentioned this already. It is cool for screen recording. It's the professional standard when it comes to making any type of screen recordings that are uploaded for a wide and robust audience. One website that I know of that uses Camtasia a lot is Lynda, or formerly known as Lynda. I think it's called LinkedIn Learning now. But basically all their videos are screen recordings, and they use Camtasia to do it. It's very professionally produced. It's really cool. But there's all these other apps out there. And I think most video conferencing apps like Zoom do screen recording too. So this is being recorded right now through Zoom. Someone said Nimbus is also good. So check out Nimbus, Nimbus. Live streaming. One thing I wanted to mention is Restream. Restream is cool because you don't have to set up one phone for Facebook Live and another phone for Instagram Live and another, let's say, screen capture for this. If you go to restream.io, you can integrate Twitch, YouTube, LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, all in one app and stream to all those platforms all at once. So it's one stream for all the streams. It's really cool. Another set of apps are here. Most of the video hosting platforms now have live, like YouTube and Vimeo. But there's Brightcove, a little bit more on the expensive side, I'm told. There's Periscope, which started off as a mobile app, and Twitch, very popular mobile app as well. Social tools, Hootsuite. Let me mention Hootsuite as pretty much a must if you do social media posting or monitoring, because you can use it free for up to 3 social networks. And I love the scheduling feature. It has a built-in calendar where you can go months into the future with your posts and just schedule them so that you can work sort of, a month in advance on the things that you're working on. And it has social listening too. So you can listen to mentions of your hashtag or mentions of your brand name on all types of platforms, and then respond to them on the app inside of Hootsuite. And it gets onto your Twitter or your Facebook right from there. So it's a must, in my opinion. Then there's Buffer, which basically works just like Hootsuite. It's actually a competitor at the same price point, I think, as at this point too. Loomly, SocialBee, TweetDeck, BuzzSumo is a social listening tool, and Sprout Social has a little bit more capabilities than Hootsuite. So, but it's a little bit more on the pricier side. But all of these are worth taking a look at. SEO web traffic, the one that I want to mention, that if you get into this space and you need a tool, check out SEMrush. Now, a lot of these SEO and web traffic tools are not cheap, but they are good. SEMrush starts at about $100 a month, and it has capabilities for social media marketing, SEO, keyword research, link building, rank tracking, and content marketing. If you don't know what those terms mean, that's what Google's for. But a simple answer is it's fully featured, and SEMrush is it provides a whole lot of visibility for what you're doing to create engagement on your websites and on your social media platforms. Some of these have a little bit different focus, but I had to throw them all into one category. For instance, SpyFu is a recommended app because it lets you spy on your competitors' keywords. I almost put it up into the competitive intelligence, but it's really meant for web traffic and SEO so that you can modify what you're getting on your site to match what someone else is getting on their site. Screaming Frog is very similar. But it's not as the UI, the user interface is very simple because it's just down to business. It just takes keywords, it gives you keywords, it monitors keywords. It's very SEO focused. So is Ahrefs and Moz, but they're all worth mentioning. Moz.com is one where you can actually take a keyword and track it over time for your website as well as other people's websites and check out the SEO results. So a lot of these things come with free trials. Definitely take advantage of them and see what you can get out of them as well. And then my last category, I believe is my last category, is website builders. I have to mention Wix because it's very featured, very robust. It's very simple too. It's not too expensive, and they're a sponsor for Denver Startup Week. So we love Wix. And then on top of it, there is WordPress.org, which I want to mention separately from a website builder, because like I mentioned, a lot of websites are running on WordPress. They're not running on WordPress.com. They're running on the self-hosted version of WordPress, which is WordPress.org. It allows you to dig into the website a little bit more, to change things a little bit more, to involve a developer if you need to get into the nuts and bolts of something that you want to happen that may not be possible on WordPress.com. So WordPress.org is definitely something to take a look at if you don't have a site set up yet. Squarespace is very, very simple, and if you need something very simple, you definitely can get on there, choose a template, and by 60 minutes from that moment, you probably will be up and running and building web pages if you just take a tutorial or two on Squarespace. So definitely look at these solutions, look at WordPress.org or Squarespace. And then I want to mention some miscellaneous tools that I didn't have a category for, but definitely need to take a look at. LinkedIn Learning, formerly known as lynda.com, is a website where you can go and get training and tutorials on how to use different apps in almost every category. I have a lynda.com account because I started using it when it was known as lynda.com, and when you could get a free account at the library. I mention that because a lot of libraries still offer this free library hosted version of lynda.com. Check out your Denver Public Library does. I think that Arapahoe County Library does. And if not, just check around, because I'm pretty sure that they still have that in place, and you can learn a whole lot of software just from going to that. Zapier.com is a resource for people who are a little bit more tech savvy, because what it does is let you have different apps talk to each other. If you, for instance, take in a lead off of your website, but you want that to go to a team member in Salesforce, or perhaps if you tag somebody in Infusionsoft or Keep and you want them to now become a lead or be notified for one of your customer service people inside of live chat. I'm just making these apps up, but you see that you can pull any app on side A and any app on side B and make them talk to each other. And that's what the purpose of Zapier is to do things like that. Google has a whole suite of apps that a lot of people haven't taken the time to explore. But, for instance, me learning about the Google Meet thing the other day was really cool. So some people didn't even know that Google has Docs and Google Sheets. So I just wanted to mention that. They have a spreadsheet. They have a word processing thing. Something called Remember the Milk is pretty cool because it's free to get started. It's just a task manager. It's very featured and it's really simple. I think I could have put it in the productivity tool, but it's really not a team tool. It's more like a personal device. Remember the Milk. They have a phone app as well as a web app. There's something called Name Checker. I wanted to mention Name Checker with just one R. It's an app where you can type in your brand name and see if it's available, or a potential brand name, and see if it's available across a number of different platforms. So for instance, I'm coming up with a new business name. It's called Didn Startup. And I want to make sure that Didn Startup is available on Twitter and Facebook and Instagram and Flickr, and there's like a million different apps that Name Checker checks at the same time. Okay. And in the process of checking a brand, I'll check lean domain name search, leandomainsearch.com, because it'll give me a whole bunch of suggestions. If my brand name is not available as a .com, it'll make it available as a .com with a couple of modifications. And then the last one I'll put on here is Twilio, because if you don't use any other app, you can still use Twilio to integrate with your SMS marketing. If you don't know what SMS marketing is, basically sending people text messages. If you have an idea that you want to send out texts for, check out Twilio, because I'm sure it will become handy in some sort of way in your process. And with that said, this is how to get this slide deck. All you have to do is put your first and last name as the subject line of an email, and then type any message you want and send it to send the slides at excentive.com. Send the message to send the slides at excentive.com, and then you'll get the slide deck directly from me. That's all you have to do. So put your first and last name as a subject, send me an email at sendtheslides@excentive.com, and I'll make sure to get you this slide deck. And if you want to connect with me directly on LinkedIn, this is my LinkedIn address, Marcus J. Farmer on LinkedIn. And I want to take time to say thanks for attending this very rapidly rust presentation at Denver Startup Week. But I hope that you got some value out of it. And I hope that in the future, you'll get some more value out of the slides as we go forward with Denver Startup Week. I appreciate the opportunity and appreciate your attendance. Thanks. And with that, I'll turn it over to someone who's in charge of the Zoom. Olivia? No?
Thank you. And actually, Marcus, there is one question in the Q&A.
Okay.
We've got 5 minutes. So if there are any questions, and it looks like someone also wants that email address again, one more time.
Let me go back to it. Sorry, guys. Let's see here. There it is. There it is. Send the slides at excentive.com. That's what we want.
Perfect. If y'all want to do a quick screenshot of that. And then Marcus, what is a good cheap one? I'm thinking this is shipping or fulfillment for shipping a book to influencers. It's a question from your slides earlier.
Oh, a shipping solution? Let me see if I can go back to it. A good cheap one?
Mm-hmm.
Give me a second, guys. E-commerce, shipping tools. Easy Ship. Check Easy Ship out. This one here, Shipping Easy, which is different, is low cost. Check that out as well. And I think at stamps.com, you get discounted postage too. That's what they say, discounted postage. So I hope that answers the question.
Great, thank you. Great comments in the chat. Bravo, wow, Marcus, covered a lot of ground, very valuable, excellent. In the last 4 minutes, if there's any last minute questions, throw them out there. And if not, we can wrap up. What about for importing or shipping from my importer warehouse?
That I would not be able to answer. Is that kind of geared towards the XM market, like you're exporting and importing things, and you want to know how to get it from here, from this country out, or bringing it into this country? Is that right?
Yeah, I think it's about bringing it into.
Yeah, I'm not familiar. There was one called freight POP. Is POP a term that has to do with XM? Because that was something that came emerging into this country. Okay. Yeah. Freight POP. And if not, I'm sure there's a website called G2. Okay. G2.com. And if you guys go to G2.com, they have even more pieces of software and recommendations than I have in this presentation. You can almost type in the category in the search there and get a whole bunch of recommendations. I'm going to type that in the chat so that you guys can reference that. G2.com. Check that out as well.
And then Marcus, what's a good way to stay up on the latest tools to use?
Well, my method is because I'm an agency and I'm working with a variety of clients. But I believe that if you're not going to networking events or maybe in the know in terms of talking to a lot of tech people and attending conferences, then I would check out a website called G2. Just search them every now and then and see if they have anything that moves or anything that is recommended. They have this really cool, I think it's a patented type of thing where it's like a grid and they show you the latest and the greatest trends of software that people are using. It's called the G2 grid. And if you go there, you should be able to see what a lot of folks are using in their businesses. Somebody asked me as an agency, what are the best conferences for lead generation? It depends on, are you asking me as an agent? Are you asking for me as an agent for my clients, lead gen? For me as an agent, I go to marketing conferences and then I talk to the other agencies. That's what I do. Just cross-pollinating with agencies.
And then there's just one more, we got one more minute. Is there a good app for small project tracking? Usually 30 minutes to a week long for different customers. If you see that one towards the...
I don't see it, but I'm thinking off the top of my head here. Small project tracking. Well, the app that I mentioned before called invoice.zoho.com. It's a Zoho invoice. I've used it before to track what I'm doing on behalf of clients. And then some of these productivity apps that I mentioned before, like ClickUp, that has a timer tool built in. I'm trying to find where it's at. Up here, it's way up the top here. Okay, there it is. Asana, I'm not sure if it does anymore, but you have to sort of look up productivity tools and see what they have to offer. I believe that ClickUp has a timer tool built into it, and Zoho may have a solution as well. Oh, someone's saying Airtable is amazing. Okay. Yeah, someone says ClickUp does have a timer built in. So I'm right there. And there's Toggle. Toggle. I forgot about Toggle. Thank you, Hillary, inside the chat. She mentioned Toggle. Toggle was one where it's very easy. You just click one button, very simple user interface, and you click another button to stop it, or the same button, I think, to stop it. And then it records all that stuff, allows you to use that information. Same button. Yep. Okay. Toggle integrates with ClickUp, someone says. Thanks. All right. So
thank you.
I appreciate it. I appreciate the questions too, guys. It's keeping me on my toes here.
Thank you, Marcus, and thank you everyone who joined. We hope to see you. There's still some more great sessions today and the rest of the week. Again, thank you so much.